So in this video, guys, it will be the practical application of these non-dual teachings. This won't be a video about how to see oneness, how to feel oneness. It's about how to feel happiness. If you're new to my channel, I have many videos on, I've got a non-duality for beginners playlist. Check that out if you're new to these teachings. And also in a previous video, I mentioned how you are the source of happiness, how that is the case, how it's your default state of being. I'll link that video in the description below, because in this video, I really want to talk about how to live this teaching day to day. How to make it go from theory into practice. And there's one thing I want to say about happiness, guys, which I've found over the years. No one cares about your happiness except you. And you might be going, yeah, but my friends and family do. Yes, they do. But ultimately, this egoic self that we think we are only cares about its own happiness. And again, you might be saying, yeah, but my friends and family care about me. They care about you because it makes them happy. What's the common thing parents say? I'm happy when my kids are happy. Because they claim you to be theirs. Of course, naturally. What I'm saying is anything we claim to be me and mine, whether it's this body, these friends, this family, if it's me and mine, I'm concerned about their happiness or their misery. That's what I'm saying. Everything comes back to us. And when you talk to acquaintances or people that you're not very close to, I can see it. You mention how great your life is or happy. Many people don't care because it doesn't affect their life, does it? Or you tell them your problems. You can tell they seem sympathetic, but they don't really care deep down. And I'm not saying this to complain. This is what everyone's doing. When you operate through this body-mind complex, that's the whole purpose of the ego. To look out for me and mine, this ego. Always happiness for me. And that's what you just got to realize, guys. I've noticed it. No point talking about how great your life is, how happy you are, if they're not going to benefit. No point talking too much about how bad your life is when they don't really care. It's like people that are rich and they show off. It's like, who are you showing off for? The only people that are proud of your achievements are you and the people that benefit from you. The average person on the street, especially in this day and age with the cost of living, no one cares about how much money you have because people are struggling. They'd say, good for you, are you going to help me out? No? Well, shut up. That's what I've come to realize in this life. And that's what drove me to spirituality, seeking happiness within, because of what I've just mentioned and many other reasons. But I don't want to go off track before I've started. How do we live these teachings day to day? When you realize there is the one appearing separate, your mind is just playing the game of separation, when there is no real separation, that you are the source of happiness. How do I live these teachings day to day? There's two key practices that I mention a lot, and it will really help you guys. Meditation and mindfulness. Now, meditation is the formal practice of mindfulness. You're in a controlled environment practicing mindfulness. And mindfulness is the informal practice of meditation, being mindful in everyday scenarios. There's many ways to meditate, but the way I meditate for many years now is, where do I put my attention? People say focus on a mantra, focus on the breath. All that's good. Where do I put mine? The feeling of existence. This feeling, I exist, I am. Feel that feeling right now. The feeling just generally that I exist, I'm alive. When I'm in meditation, that's where I anchor my attention. Why do I do that? Because where does our attention naturally go? By default, into thinking. Into egoic thought patterns. Why do I call it egoic thought patterns? What's our default state of thinking? Me and mine. My happiness, my desires, also free will. Free will comes from egoic thought patterns. I'm in control of my life, so are others. And then it goes into, I shouldn't have done that. I'm so proud of doing that. They shouldn't have done that to me. They should have done this. All this shoulda, coulda, woulda comes from thinking we've got free will and me and mine. So all you're doing in meditation is taking all your awareness from thinking into the body, into the feeling of existence. Once you do that for an extended period of time, weeks, months, years, however long it's going to take, that becomes your default state of being. That's mine. How do I operate in day-to-day life now? Through years of doing this type of meditation. When my attention is not required of this world, which is most times, most of the time, our attention isn't required. My attention goes into the body by habit. It just, in the feeling of existence, in the moment. When a thought comes, a practical thought, I don't have many egoic thoughts anymore, in the sense of shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like I said, because it's a waste of time. It's a waste of thinking capacity. So when my attention's in the body, when a practical thought comes, this needs to be done, that needs to be done, there's two options. Can I do something about it? Yes. What's the solution? Or can I do something about it? No. Then don't worry about it. Once that's all sorted, back into the body. Why do I do this and I'm recommending you to do this? Have that as your default state of being, mindfulness. Because what is happiness really? You'll find that it feels natural. It feels good. It feels good because it's natural. Open, relaxed. It's like an open hand. If this is anger, tension, contraction, this is happiness. It feels, that's how it should be. It feels that's how it should be because that's our default state of being. Like I've mentioned in the video in the description. This is our natural state. Our default state is happiness, but what ruins that happiness? Thoughts of shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know what happiness basically is? Saying yes to the moment. Next time you're happy, notice what's happening. You're agreeing to what's happening in the moment. You're like, this is how I wanted it to be. Whatever's presented to you, it's what you expected or better than you expected. What stops this happiness? When a desire comes, I don't like what's happening. I don't like this person. Basically, happiness is saying yes to the moment. Anger, misery, irritation is saying no to what's happening. It's just the mind, isn't it? Your body is always in the moment. What does your body want really? Food, shelter, water. It doesn't want anything except those things. Just to survive. And ultimately, your body doesn't even know it's alive, by the way. It doesn't even want food and water and shelter. That's just necessary for it to survive. But your heart doesn't know it's alive. Your lungs, your brain, it's just performing functions. The heart's beating, then it's going to stop one day. The lungs are breathing in and out oxygen, then it's going to stop. So your body parts don't even know they're alive. But let's not go that extreme. This body just wants food, shelter, water. So what's all this desire coming from? The mind. That's why your body's in the moment. Your body doesn't think. Your mind's irritated. Look at animals in nature. Look at your dog or your cat. They just sit there blankly. And then when they want to go get water or food or go play, they do it. And then they're just back sitting there. Because their mind isn't full of desire like the human mind. So that's all happiness is, guys. Your default state is happiness, which is saying yes to the moment, and then desire clouds it, which makes you angry and irritable. So why did I mention all this mindfulness at the beginning? You want to get into that state because when you're in that state of anchoring your attention in the body, you're very close to your feelings. And what I found is, when it's anchored in the body and you're feeling neutral or happy, no effort required. Just live life. Keep doing what you're doing. It's all good. But when there's a feeling of anger, sadness, irritation, when there's the feeling of contraction, that's when the red light should go off and go, hang on, I'm resisting something in this moment. And that's where all these practices are going to start to come in. How do I deal with difficult people and situations? Here's what I do. I'll show you the steps I do. First of all, if I'm dealing with an irritable person, I have a thought now in my head, which is instantly thank you. And you might be thinking, why are you thinking thank you? Because now I get a chance to work on my non-reactivity. I'm going to see how calm I can stay and relaxed while this person tries to push my buttons intentionally or unintentionally. And if I've mastered that interaction, I mentally think to myself, I'm so grateful for this person. Thank you. I've been able to practice non-reactivity, remaining calm. And how would you do that? How would you deal with these negative people and situations? Here's what I do. Like I said, keep my attention in the feeling of existence. Remove the story. Remove all this thinking. See, that's the problem. We think there's a problem, then feel there's a problem. The feeling creates more thoughts, and the thoughts create more feelings. They bootstrap each other. So what do? I delete the story. Why this person's making me annoyed, why this situation's making me annoyed. Strip away all the story, focus on the feeling. What's the feeling of anger or irritation? Like a tension, isn't it? I just zoom in on the feeling, no story attached, and then what does it do? When you're just focused on the feeling, it slowly dissolves. What you'll notice is it'll slowly dissolve, and then you're back to a state of peace and happiness. The more you do this, day after day, week after week, year after year, whatever, it's going to be automatic. Like I said, difficult person, my first thought, yes, I get to practice non-reactivity. They start irritating me. I ignore the irritation in thinking, focus on the feeling, it slowly dissolves. And with people, while it's slowly dissolving, I try to keep my tone calm, speak logical, not inflame the situation. And with situations, again, there's an issue, ignore why it's an issue, focus on the feeling of irritation, let it dissolve. That's another thing to remember. When things go wrong in life, we think all these difficult people and problems are getting in the way of my life. I have my life how I have my life planned, and these people and situations are getting in the way. A better way to look at this from Stoicism is the obstacle is the way. In other words, you think these people and experiences are getting in the way of you living your real life? No, these people and experiences are part of your real life. They're the story of your real life. See what I'm saying? If life was like a movie, these people and situations are part of the movie. You think they're in the way of your movie? They're part of your movie. The obstacle is the way, as Marcus Aurelius said in his Stoic Meditations. And again, every time you encounter a difficult person or situation, it gives you a chance to practice overcoming the situation in a calm, relaxed manner. The more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more confident and calm you're going to feel moving forward in life. Because what is our natural thought about inner peace? If only I can run away, if only I can get away from these terrible people and situations, then I'll be happy. True. Try the best you can to avoid negative people and situations, but also remember, where is the fastest growth going to happen? When you're facing challenges, because then you overcome them. And then you're not so limited to running away all the time. Follow your fear. A lot of people that can't make friends, I've heard them say this. They're like, I choose my friends. That's why I don't have many friends, because I choose them. And sometimes I'm thinking, yeah, but your personality could use some work. Because you think you're perfect, right? You've got all these triggers, all these buttons, then you run away thinking, I choose who I hang around with, but you're not working on yourself. The best thing we can all do is acknowledge we've got triggers. We've got anger issues, we've got this and that. We've got buttons that people are pushing. So don't run away from people. At your own pace, hang around the people that annoy you. Allow them to push your buttons. Think of them as a teacher. Allow them to push your buttons. The more you're exposed to these people, the more you act from a place of love, patience, non-reactivity. Slowly these buttons are removed. And that's the whole point of inner peace, by the way, guys. It's not inner peace by running away from the world. It's inner peace in the midst of the world. You want to have inner peace regardless of what's happening. And again, just to go back to living this in everyday life, what do? I focus on the feeling of existence. When I'm feeling happy or neutral, cool, nothing to do. When there's a difficult personal situation, the feelings of negative feelings start coming, I delete the story, why I feel negative. Focus on the feelings, direct awareness into them, they'll slowly dissolve. This is going to be difficult when you start, but slowly over time. Live your life like this. Like I said, meditation is mindfulness. And when you do it long enough, your attention is just going to be here. And all you're doing is scanning your feelings. That's all it is. And treat it like a video game. Happiness, good. You're winning at the game. Irritation, something to work on. Also, I should mention about this irritation, all this focusing on the negative feelings will slowly make them dissolve, but you need to work on the root cause of why you felt that to begin with. That's why spiritual knowledge is so important too. Deal with the negative feelings, and then in your own time, when everything's calm and relaxed, ask yourself, what about that scenario triggered those thoughts and feelings so I won't feel or think them again? Because you don't want to keep feeling the same thing, doing the same thing with the same people, and then doing this practice. Yeah, it works and all, but you really want to get to the stage where the next time you're in that interaction, eventually, it's not going to trigger these thoughts and feelings. Because all these thoughts and feelings, even when you get, just say, non-dual knowledge, it's just old patterns of thinking and conditioning, isn't it? That's why a lot of people think, I've got non-dual knowledge. I can intellectually see oneness. Why isn't my life changing? Because you get knowledge first that needs to slowly filter down into feeling it. And how do you do that? Constantly keeping your attention on these teachings. Constantly being mindful of every time I'm feeling irritation, anger, the person or the situation isn't the problem. They're actually a blessing to help me work on this feeling, to open me up. Because the ultimate goal is to feel open, calm, relaxed in all situations, in all scenarios. That's unstoppable inner peace, guys. And when what you know and what you feel is in total alignment, that's my definition of enlightenment. I have a high standard. That's why I'll never say I'm enlightened in any video, because I go around this life generally peaceful and happy, but I still get flare-ups of anger, irritation. So I'm slowly trying to remove all of that. Also, I should mention, the enlightened still get angry, but it seems to be vertical in time. It's like a lightning strike. You might be saying, but it's still anger, right? Yes, but they're angry in the moment. They snap at you in the moment, and then the next moment they're good. It's almost like just to scare you, to shock you. But then they're good again. But what do? We hold anger horizontally through time. We're angry at someone or something, and for days, weeks, months, years, we holding that anger through time. They might have changed, but we're still angry at them. The anger of the enlightened, I heard a monk say it once, it's really beautiful. It's like drawing a line through water with your finger. Imagine water and you draw a line through it. A line appears and then it vanishes. They don't hold on to things. I remember hearing a story about Nisargadatta Maharaj where he was giving a talk. One of the students said something that really angered him, irritated him, and he snapped at this student, got really angry at him. And then the student, not long after, said something funny. And then Nisargadatta started laughing, cracking up. You might be thinking, yeah, and? Well, have you done this in your life? If someone's really annoyed you in one moment and then they've said a joke, can you switch to happiness instantly? I know I can't. It takes me a bit of time. Because what I'm getting at is, guys, ever notice when you're angry with someone, everything they do is annoying. Anything they say isn't funny. Why is that? Because you don't like them now. And when you like someone, everything they do is great. Everything they say is funny. See, we hold on to anger, bitterness and resentment horizontally through time. But the enlightened, like I'm saying, they'll be angry in one moment, happy in the next. They treat you on your merits moment to moment. But we hold on to stories. Like I said, to slowly wind down this video, your default state is peace and happiness. How do you stop feeling peaceful and happy? It's tiring, seriously. You know why it's tiring? Because your natural default state is this. No effort required. How do you get angry now? Add a story to all this. I'm a person living a life. I'm taking what they said or did personally. Now I'm going to hold on to anger. I don't like what's happening. See how it's tiring. You need to make this big deal out of something that's not a big deal. To be angry, but to be happy. Let go of all these stories. Say yes to what's happening. And again, to quickly round off this video, how would you say yes to what's happening? Here's my favorite technique in devotional language. This is God's world. Before you were born, there was a blank, a peaceful blank. Now this movie of life, of God, started playing. It's nothing to do with you. And then before you know it, it's going to be a blank again, death. You didn't create this world. You didn't create this body. This body belongs to this world. This body has food, water, oxygen that belongs to this world. You didn't create the language you're thinking in. Someone gave that to you. This world gave you language. These feelings belong to this body. They're not yours. Everything about this reality ultimately doesn't belong to you. But your ego has it in its head that you own this, you own possessions, you have preferences for this and that. Your ego is messing up your life. This is, like I said, God's world, God's body, God's people, God's possession. The movie of life started playing. You're getting involved in a story, claiming things, having preferences, and getting angry. You're doing it to yourself. That's all I'm saying. So that's another mindset I go through in this life. Every day I wake up, I say, this world has nothing to do with me. It's God's world. Let's see what happens. Because also, nothing's happening according to my will. It's God's will. God's world, God's will. My default state is peace, like before I was born. It'll be peace when I'm dead. It's even peace in the middle. If I can only stop wanting this world to be as I want it, which has nothing to do with me. That's the mindset you need, guys. That's the mindset I take day in and day out. You're not going to hear this once and everything's going to change. It takes constant effort, like everything in life. You don't lift weights. You don't lift weights once and have a good looking body. You don't invest $100 and expect to be a millionaire. You don't watch 1 or 2 videos and expect to have inner peace. It takes work. And if you really want to be happy, if you really want inner peace, it's the daily grind, like everything else. But the rewards are going to be so stunning. Because everything else you're doing in the world is for happiness, but this is the key to happiness. What I'm mentioning in this video, and many more videos to come in the future. So as always, guys, I hope this video helps, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next one. Take care.